Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with a wrap-up video for our Playing on a Budget with our Hardened Scales. Unfortunately, this deck didn't work as I thought it would work. We were really getting handled by any sort of deck that has evasion or can go over the top of us. I did keep some loose hands, and that was my fault. A lot of those should have been mulligans. And I don't really... We got to see the power of this deck, though, when you do lead off with the Hardened Scales. So I am happy about that. This is a fun little introduction deck. You can make this, of course, if you take out the white. And if you were to take out the white, I would keep everything here. And you'd want to go more Setessan Tactics. And then this deck does have some options with, like, any one of the morph cards. Any one of the Mega Morph cards from the new set out of green is a viable option. Like Den Protector would be a pretty sweet card in this deck. And more Survivalist in the sideboard is fine. Shield Bearer, nah, not too much. It does put more counters on other stuff. I guess Shield Bearer could go on a budget list of this too. But this is definitely like a deck you could easily make for like $15 by cutting out the white. Because white is the expensive part of this. And then you could even go into more of a devotion-based strategy with like Boon Satyrs. And of turning like a Boon Satyr. Boon Satyr is very powerful on an avatar of the Resolute, as this has trample and can get through most things. And then instead of like Feudal Resistance, you could go cards like Ranger's Guile or Mortal's Resolve, as it will give them indestructible or hexproof, whatever you, whichever card you prefer. I was absolutely loving the Inspiring Call. I think that against control, this is just gonna be a blowout of a card. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that matchup, but I'm thinking this deck will match up pretty decent against the control list. So there's also any sort of morph-based strategy has some sweet cards that you can use too. I thought about the Hydra, the Hooded Hydra in here. So you got Hooded Hydra, says for 5 mana you put 5 counters on it, not too shabby. When it dies, you put that many green snakes. So it's a way to actually recover from a board wipe. A little bit costly for the deck. And there was a few other, like anything that had the Outlast in green wouldn't be a shabby option either. A Tuskguard Captain might not be that bad because all of your creatures get with a +1 counter getting trample, and that actually could make the Reverent Hunter a threat as well. So again, if I were to cut out the white, that would probably be my first addition, would be Tuskguard Captain, and then other cards like the Megamorph cards that I talked about. So this does have potential and a very, very, very great introductory deck. So I know I've played two mono green type decks in the past 2 weeks for Playing on a Budget. I'll switch it up with I have a lot of other decks that I want to play. That last mono blue devotion deck is actually very budget at the moment. Master Ways are still very inexpensive, and so is Thassa. And everything else in that deck is very, very inexpensive, with most of the cards already starting to suffer from the rotation. A lot of vendors at this time start just selling off Theros cards. So a lot of the mono blue staples are going for bulk, like the Hypnotic Sirens, the Binding of Thassas, the Hall of Triumphs. All those you can pick up for nothing. So we'll go to some other decks. Some other archetypes. I'm not going to make you stick with mono green for weeks upon weeks. I just thought I'd try a Hardened Scales deck. Loving the deck, though. It didn't work. I admit it. Didn't quite work, but it wasn't a huge blowout either. We didn't lose any of those matchups 2-0. We won at least one of those matchups and got to see the power of the first turn Hardened Scales in many of those matchups. So let me know if any cards I've missed. There's got to be cards that I've missed in here that would make this deck even more powerful. So in the comment section below, let me know those cards. Let me know your own versions. Maybe we can actually get this deck tuned for competitive play. So overall, I love this deck, and I'd play it again. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.